Welcome to a brand new episode of the Comic Hall. I am your host, Dylan Lang, and welcome. It is the week of January 10th, 2018, and got ourselves a nice little comic book haul this week that we're going to talk about. Some good books in there, a lot of female-centric ones, some really nice covers, some good storylines, a lot of stuff out this week. So next week's is a little bit light, which is good, but this week we got all this stuff. This is the comic haul for this week. Some stuff is ending, some stuff that, I said I wasn't going to collect anymore after a certain time. Well, these are going to be the last few issues for that. So we'll get into that in a second. Again, real quick, what the show is about. The Comic Hall is my show where every week I show you the comic books that I got this week. Just take a look at the artwork, the storylines, and see what you can go out to your local comic book store and pick up. Maybe you'll see something you like in there. The main reason why I want to do this is to get you out to your local comic book store and check it out. You might find something you like. Once again, let me reiterate, even though it's a lot of stuff, this is nowhere near the amount of every single book that came out this week. My local comic book store has literally four shelves worth of new books, and they're tall shelves, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5. It's like 80 shelves of books for new books. So this is just a touch of the iceberg. And these are just ones that I like. So find out where your local comic book store is. Go to your search engine, type in Comic Shop Locator Service. Once you click on the website, you go to the website, you go in, you should just type in your zip code, and it'll find all the local comic book stores in your area within about a 20-mile radius, and you can go and visit them. They'll send you to their websites, they'll give you directions, and go and see for yourself. So I'm going to show you some of the books that came out this week to see if you're interested in going and getting them. Some really, really nice ones, and actually, to be honest, I mean, I don't know, there's a lot of nice covers in here, so we'll start with this one. I think this is probably my favorite cover of the week because for the first time ever, Harley Quinn is the first book I'm doing this week. This is Harley Quinn number 34. This is the final issue of the Jimmy Palmiotti Amanda Conner run. This is a gorgeous Amanda Conner cover. And it has been a fun ride through the New 52 and in through this. Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner have written Harley Quinn for going on probably about 5 years now, probably. This is their final story. Well, kind of. I'll show you what I mean in a second. But the series has been consistent. I have every issue, and now I need to read them all. But I'm really interested in it. They've had great artwork. This one is written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner with art by John Timms and Chad Hardin, who did the artwork a while back for them. Comes on for a 2-pager. Just gorgeous artwork. Stunning, just absolutely beautiful stuff. I love it. It's a good wrap-up storyline with what's going on with Harley and everything, just a great little send-off for them. And I just love this last page because I love Poison Ivy and Harley are a great couple. I like that. If there's any couple, and I saw this meme a while back, is like, find me a love with that Harley and the Joker share, and it's Batman going, don't you read the comics because the Joker is an abusive asshole to Harley. Meanwhile, Pamela Isley, Poison Ivy, and Harley are an absolutely scorching couple, so it's great to see them end on the high note there. So final issue of Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner's stellar run of Harley Quinn is right here, issue number 34. Or so you thought. Knowing that it was going to be the final issue this week, Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner decided, you know what? We're going to do one last one-shot. So we're going to do one last one-shot. This is Be Careful What You Wish For, Harley Quinn one-shot. It's written by Jimmy and Amanda, and we actually get some Amanda artwork, which is amazing because she hasn't really done any artwork, but she also gets Chad Hardin, who did the New 52 Harley Quinn. Otto Schmidt is in there, Ben Caldwell. And it's a fun little story about Harley Quinn finding a genie and getting some wishes, and you get to see what her wishes are, plus the appearance by Power Girl because Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner did the Power Girl series. So it's just a fun little thing right here. Is like, what if Joker was an abusive asshole, but was actually someone who truly madly loved Harley Quinn? What if she joined the Justice League? Is another one of her wishes. What if she had dogs? What if there was a male Harley Quinn? And here's some different artwork here. I don't know what this one is, so I have to read the article to find out. And then what if she had her own movie, blah, blah, blah. But just, it is a fun little one last hurrah, because Jimmy and Amanda had one last story they wanted to tell, and they did it in a one-shot. So get your double Harley Quinn on. The new Harley Quinn, actually, I think actually comes out next week. The new creative team. Nothing against Frank Thierry. I'm just not interested in it. I've bought Harley Quinn for the Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Conner. And Frank, you're a good writer and all that, but you're not Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Conner. So I'm probably going to be dropping Harley Quinn right now. So that was the last issue I'll probably be buying of Harley Quinn, unless Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Conner come on, or there's another creative team that I find just as good. And who knows? Don't get me wrong, Frank Thierry might be an excellent writer and might be having a stellar run on Harley Quinn, but I'm not a big fan of the Harley Quinn character. But when Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Conner writer, she is one of my favorites. Also, having its last issue is a comic I'm a little disappointed in. Superwoman, number 18. This is the final issue of Superwoman, so I will not be getting this anymore. The main reason I got this when Rebirth happened was because Phil Jimenez was going to be doing the writing and art on it, and I love Phil Jimenez, and it was an interesting take on it. What if the Lana Lang of the New 52 had Superman red powers, and we follow her adventures through here, and that's what this is about. But Jimenez left after a while, and Kevin Perkins took over, which he did fine. And I figured, no, I'll just stick with it, see what happens. Max Rainer is the artist, Jamie Mendoza and Scott Hanna are the inkers. So we get a wrap up to the Superwoman storyline that's been permeating since Rebirth happened. So I think it's wrapped up, and we have a good conclusion. So farewell to you, Superwoman. Maybe you'll appear some other place. Next up, another one I'm probably going to be dropping also, which is killing me right now. But to be honest, I'm not a big fan of James Robinson's writing on this. Wonder Woman, number 38. This is the beginning of a new storyline called Swan Song, where basically tore apart one of Greg Rutka's best stories for this story. So this might have very well be my last issue of Wonder Woman also, which is the same, because Wonder Woman is fantastic, but James Robinson's writer, Emanuela Lipacino penciler, Ray McCarthy inks. I'm probably not going to buy Wonder Woman anymore unless they get a new creative team on there, and I'll keep an eye on that. But for now, I'm sorry, James Robinson, you're just not doing it for me. So plus, I don't like the fact that you gave her a brother also. I don't like it. So and I got it mostly for Greg Rucka's story. So that's probably the last of that one also. So that's hence the name of the episode is The End. See, the funny thing is, I'm making all these changes, and there's a whole gaggle of new comics coming out over the next month and a half. Including next week, the first of the new superheroes spinning out of Metal is coming out. So I'll be probably picking that up because the creative teams on those new series are amazing. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm probably going to stick with this one probably to issue 1000, then we'll see what happens. But Action Comics number 995, continuing the Booster Gold Superman crossover. This one, however, is not drawn by Dan Jurgens. Dan Jurgens did write it. Brett Booth is the penciler, so that's just as good. And Norm Ratmud is the inker. So we're continuing with that. But Action just hasn't really been that good. No offense, Dan. You wrote some really good Superman stuff in the 90s. But the stuff that you're writing now, not as exciting. But this Booster Gold story has been really good. And hopefully maybe we'll get more of that. But, you're only 5 issues from 1000, and we'll see what happens after that, see if there's a new creative team or where it's going to go after that. So I will probably stick with it through 1000, and that's it. So that's only, it's a bi-monthly show, so it's 995, so 96, 97, 98, 99, 1000. That's, let's see, 1 month, 2 months, about 2.5 months from now, issue 1000 will be out. So you'll see it here in the Comic Hall. Again, another one that I'm probably going to be dropping soon. No offense, Steve Orlando, but I've been talking about this for Justice League of America. Number 22 begins a new story arc. Steve Orlando is the writer. The artist is Neil Edwards. Inks are by Daniel Henriquez. The art's actually not too bad, and it's still an interesting concept, but it's just something about the team is just not doing it for me, and I'm just I don't know what it is, and the fact is I do need to start cutting back, and this might be the last issue I get of this as well. This is the end for a lot of books. As I said, more books are coming all the time, so do something all the time. This book I'm extraordinarily disappointed in. I think I talked about this when issue 2 came out. I read issue 1. I was like, what the heck is this? Because it's one of my favorite characters and a classic comic creator, but he seems to have lost his mind. Neil Adams' Dead Man, issue number 3 came out. It's a 6-issue miniseries. I'm going to get all 6 issues, but this book is awful. And you get an appearance by a Spectre Demon, the Phantom Stranger, so hopefully that'll be an added incentive. But the story is just all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. The art is not fantastic. I mean, yes, it's Neil Adams, and he's a classic, but it's Dead Man. He's a great character, but it's just the book is just very disappointing. So I'm going to stick with this through the 6 issues, but I'm just disappointed in that because Dead Man should and deserves something better. Something that is fantastic is continuing Tom King's reign as the best writer at DC right now. Mr. Miracle number 6 is out this week. Written by Tom King with art by Mitch Gerards. Things are starting to really take off now. Every page is a 9 panel bit. There's a lot of story going on, and a major life-changing event happens in this, but it's a fun little exploration through Apocalypse. So just a incredible series so far. Great story. Really enjoying it immensely. Next up, we have Red Hood, The Outlaws, number 18. There's the Creeper again. He's all over the place this week. Scott Lobdell, Sergio Sandoval pencils, Juan Albarrán inks, which is fine. The regular artist needs a break every once in a while. He's fantastic. Dustin Soy. But we get a different artist on this one, and this series is still continually great, surprisingly so, and very happy to be proven wrong that this book I thought was going to be awful is actually very good. So, newest issue that came out. Another great miniseries with one of DC's supernatural characters is Ragman. Ragman number 4. This has been a phenomenal series as well. It's only got 2 more issues, right? Yep, 6-issue miniseries. Ray Fawkes and Nikki Miranda artwork. New take on Ragman, but you get the Demon this time, who was just in a couple other books also. He's been popping up as well, but it's a creepy, cool book. Ragman's such an interesting character, and this new take on Ragman is actually excellent. Ray Fawkes is absolutely the perfect writer for this book, and I hope we get to see more of Ragman down the line. I'm holding out hope that we get a Justice League Dark book, but you know what? I think Ray Fawkes would do a fantastic job. Dead Man, you get Phantom Stranger, Demon, the Creeper, Spectre, heck, you get anybody you want in there. Zatanna, Constantine, you got a whole Swamp Thing, you got a whole mess of supernatural characters you can use, and I think Ray Fawkes would probably be the best writer for that. But for now, we do not have a Justice League Dark. We just got to read the miniseries for them. Next up, we have Detective Comics number 972. Nice cover. James Tynion IV, continuing his stellar run on Detective. Drawn by Raphael. No, that was the Miguel Mendonco and Diana Egan as the inker. So it's nice looking art. I really like it. Where's that shot of Batman I really liked? That's a nice shot of Batman at the beginning. Kind of again, sort of like a Steve Epting-esque sort of style to it. But I really like this series. I like the fact that it's a Batman team, and we're getting a good character development story. Next up, we have Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, number 36, written by Robert Venditti with art by Jack Herbert and Jose Luis, with inks by Herbert, Mick Gray, and Cam Smith. This storyline focused on the 4 Earth Green Lanterns who are now like the leaders of the Green Lantern Corps, and the Guardians of the Universe get kidnapped again, which is a story that keeps getting repeated over and over again. So hopefully it'll be something different and new. Unfortunately, I think General Zod is coming back. He's another overexposed character because he's also going to be in Action Comics also. So we'll see. But that book's been okay. Robert Venditti's been writing Green Lantern for a long time, and the Green Lanterns are always a very interesting team and a fun one with lots of different people. So Flash number 38, again with the dialogue boxes, which have been prevalent on a lot of DC's comics this year and into last year also. It's written by Joshua Williamson with art by Scott Collins. I'm going to keep reading The Flash because there's going to be a major storyline coming up this summer, which I think is going to be really cool. So I'm going to keep up with The Flash in that one. And it's called like War of the Flashes or something like that. So could be really interesting. So I'm going to keep up with that. So you two keep reading Flash. Titans number 19 out this week as well. Written by Dan Abnett with art by Paul Pelletier. Inks by Andrew Hennessy. Justice League comes over and chats with the Titans on this one. And there's probably more to it than that, but it's a so we'll see what happens with that. Next up, we have Supergirl number 17. For fans of the Supergirl TV show, this is a good comic to read up on. Steve Orlando and Jody Hauser are the writers. I'm wondering if Steve Orlando is getting ready to move on and is going to pass the reins over to Jody Hauser, which would be fantastic. Pencils by Robson Roca and Julio Ferreira. Inks by Daniel Henriquez and Julio Ferreira. So if you like the Supergirl TV show, you will probably enjoy the comic. It has a lot of similar stuff to the TV show, but at the same time is well ensconced in the DC universe in its own right, and not exactly like the TV show, but close enough. That's it for DC proper. We had a classic Hanna-Barbera book last week in Snagglepuss, which I did read and was, as I expected, fantastic. Well, Scooby Apocalypse was the one that still is ongoing of all of them when this whole thing started. And I keep getting this because the creative team is just that good. Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis, who were your Justice League International writers, and both are good writers in their own right, are writing this book and have been since it began. And you're also getting art from some classic artists. In this case, Ron Wagner is the art on this one. Andy Owens is inking. It might not look stellar, but Ron Wagner's been around forever, and he's done a lot of stuff, so it's good to see that. And it's an interesting premise with, instead of them taking on people dressed up as ghosts, are taking on actual demonic creatures, which is really good. Plus, they've been doing some secondary stories. Given DeMatteis and Phil Jimenez are continuing the Secret Squirrel story. So you get 2 stories in here for the price of 1. So that up as well. It's well worth it. DeMatteis, Giffen and DeMatteis are like a dream team of writers. That's it for DC. Marvel, I haven't been reading as much, and there's not really a lot here. But this first one I had to get because I was a huge fan of the comic Excalibur. They brought them back all together in X-Men Gold Annual #1. This is even the homage cover from the first issue of Excalibur. I don't think it's drawn by Alan Davis. It could be. I don't think it is, though. But it is celebrating the 30th anniversary of Excalibur. This whole issue is just about Excalibur. It's written by Mark Guggenheim and Leah Williams with art by Althea Martinez. Inks. Oh, it is Alan Davis who did the art for the cover. Cool. And inks by Althea E. Martinez and Craig Young. So you get your fans of the Excalibur, you get this back, and maybe, just maybe, we're getting a little bit of a taste of, hey, maybe we'll actually get an Excalibur comic in the new Legacy era. So if that's the case, I may have to pick that one up because I enjoyed Excalibur immensely. I thought it was a vastly underrated comic, and I'm really, really excited about it. So we'll see what happens. But yes, it has a special place in my heart, and I had to pick up the book because Excalibur is Excalibur. Plus, you get a little bit of a Storm backup book story written by Monty Nero with art by Gerbil Morissette Fon. I'll show you a little bit of that. Gerbil, there it is. There it is. Some of that. So you get two stories in here. The big one, of course, is the Excalibur team up, and it's good to see them all back together. Sorry, Nightcrawler, I was hiding you. And yes, this is Alan Davis. So redoing the cover he did for the original Excalibur one because he was the artist on that as well. So hooray for that. I bought this one because my wife, and particularly my daughter, this is her new favorite superhero girl, and I cannot wait to get this to her tomorrow, but I wanted to do it on my show. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #28. This is for my daughter. It is written by Ryan North with art by Erica Henderson. They have been the creative team on Squirrel Girl forever, and it's the reason why my daughter and my wife love the book. And it's a fun book, and I need to probably get caught up on it because Squirrels and I have a history. So you get appearances by the Guardians of the Galaxy and Loki and Galactus and Iron Man and squirrels and all kinds of crazy stuff. So in this case, we also have the Silver Surfer too, who makes an appearance. So Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #28 is out this week as well. Venom #160. I don't collect Venom because I do not like the character of Venom. In fact, I hate the character of Venom, but I like the character of Spider-Man, and it's a crossover with the Amazing Spider-Man book proper. So there's only one more part to this Venomverse story, or Venom Inc. storyline. So then I won't have to worry about it again. Mike Costa is the writer. Dan Slott is the co-writer of the story with Mike Costa, but Mike Costa is the writer. Gerardo Sandoval is the artist on it. And it's what you expect. It's Venom. Venom is probably going to do very well when it comes out in movie theaters later this fall. So this is a book you're probably going to want to keep an eye on, but I'm not going to collect Venom after this. Next week is going to be the last issue of Venom. It's like going to be Venom Beta or something like that, which is the final part of the Venom Inc. storyline, and then we'll get back to normal. Venom Inc. Omega, excuse me. We'll get back. So that's came out this week. Also, if you've been collecting Spider-Man and want to continue the storyline, there you go. Finally, I've been finally getting into the Star Wars end of the Marvel Universe. This is Darth Vader #10. This is the second Darth Vader series. The first one, my comic store was doing a Christmas deal where they would do half price books like all the time. So I bought the Darth Vader Volume 1 Omnibus, which has all 25 issues, as well as the Vader Down storyline, which covered about 4 issues as well. So it's like 29 to 30 books in one giant $150 $100 hardcover omnibus. Got it for half price. I got it for $50. So it's up there in my room. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to read it. The Volume 1 of Darth Vader covered what happened after between Star Wars and Empire. And what was really interesting about that, it was written by Kieran Gillen with art by Salvador Larroca. And what was really interesting about that was it had Darth Vader be disgraced after the destruction of the Death Star. And he has to, make him look good in the light of the Emperor. So he's got to do some menial tasks for him, but also at the same time, he wants to build up his own army in case someone tries to take him out again. So he ends up going to all these different locations that Anakin grew up in, Tatooine, and where he met Amidala, and where they were in Attack of the Clones and all this stuff, and also, you know, remembering things and stuff like that. So that was Volume 1. Now Volume 2, they go way back now. Volume 2 is basically Darth Vader Year 1. The first issue took place immediately after Revenge of the Sith. So, you know, it's Darth Vader finding his way, getting himself under control, and becoming the awesome Sith Lord he is. So here's issue number 10. It's written by Charles Soule with art by Giuseppe Camuncoli and inks by Daniele Orlandini. Now, Giuseppe's been doing a really fantastic job of the art. I thought Salvador Larroca was doing a good job. Giuseppe's doing a fantastic job as well. And Charles Soule is a fantastic writer as well. So this Darth Vader series is just as good as the Kieran Gillen one, but you get a little bit more of the aftermath of the prequels, whereas the Volume 1 was more after the New Hope stuff, and you had appearances by Luke and Leia and all that, and also how Darth Vader found out that Luke was his son and stuff like that. So it's a good series. But that is Darth Vader Year 1, Darth Vader raw, out of control, trying to control himself, find his place, so like that. So there's that one. That's it for Marvel. I saw this because I found it very interesting when these types of things happen. And then when I bought it, I already said I was going to buy it. When I bought it, I saw who the writer was. I was like, oh my God, how did I not know this? BSG versus BSG #1 from Dynamite. So we have the original Battlestar Galactica, which I watched when I grew up. And then I watched the first couple episodes of the new version that came out, about 10 years ago, because my wife and I were together. So we would have been watching a little bit 10, 15 years ago. So Dynamite owns the rights to both of them, and they decide, hey, why don't we do a BSG versus BSG? So we get a crossover between the two BSGs. So who they get? They get Peter David, who is a writer who had written for some of the BSG Battlestar Galactica comics. He is the writer of this miniseries. The art is by Johnny Desjardins, and wonderful cover by John Cassaday. So basically, you get BSG versus BSG. I mean, what more do you want? I think it's going to be a 6-issue miniseries. Doesn't say here, but I would assume it's going to be a 6-issue miniseries. And if you were a fan of classic Battlestar Galactica and of the new Battlestar Galactica, or if you were a fan of one and not the other, whatever, well, now's your chance to see them take on each other in a battle royale. We'll see what happens. So I'm actually intrigued to see what happens here, particularly with Peter David writing it. So I'm probably going to keep buying this every month it comes out. Now we enter the 5 of the next 7 are the hot females of comicdom. And my one viewer who was watching, well, you missed the hot chicks. First up, we've got Hack Slash versus Vampirella #4. This is old school Vampirella, not the new one that's out now. So again, Hubba Hubba, and Hack Slash is one of those great comics that I've been meaning to get back into. And as I've told you over the last few weeks, I'm finally getting back into a little bit. I'm going to try to see if I can dig up some of the omnibuses, because my store's doing another 50% off trade thing this week. So maybe I'll find some of those. This is written by Sean Aldridge with art by Rafa Lobosco. So we have Vampirella and Hack Slash, which is a great combo, and it's a wonderful series, and intriguing, and it's got hot chicks on the cover. So the next hot chick is a really hot chick. Dynamite's been doing a really good job with their 25-cent introductory issue, which is usually a #0 that leads into a regular series, and it's hooked me for Red Sonja, Red Sonja, Sheena. I think there's one more I'm missing. Well, they did it again. This time it's Dejah Thoris, #0. Look at that Jana Clayton artwork. Yumma yumma. Amy Chu, who is writing Red Sonja, is writing the new Dejah Thoris book. That's one of the reasons why I picked this up. And it's illustrated by Pasquale Quilano. And so this is a prequel to the John Carter of Mars story, which is who Dejah Thoris is a member of. So you don't really need to know anything about the John Carter stuff to read this book and get into it. But I like these 25-cent introductory issues because it is an actual issue that leads into the new series, and it sets up storylines, stuff like that, and you get to see what the artwork and the writer has in store for it. So that's a good one, and I'll probably keep an eye out on Dejah Thoris #1. See, here's the covers for the new book, the new issue coming out later on. You got a J. Scott Campbell cover, a Frank Cho cover, Mike McCone cover, and a Sergio Davila cover. So getting Amy Chu back on, and she's actually, the newest issue will be out next month. So Dejah Thoris #1 will be out next month, February 7th, it looks like. So we get an idea of what we're going to get into. So that's why I like Dynamite's idea of hooking people with a 25-cent issue, because that's easily 25 cents, bam, accessible, and then getting them hooked, and then get the first issue when it comes out a month later. Another hot chick, Witchblade #2. A little bit different Witchblade than you're used to, but that's okay. It's written by Caitlin Kitteridge with art by Roberta Ingranata. So the fact that you've got some women on working on this is good, and you really haven't seen much of the Witchblade so far. I guess they're sort of saving it up a little bit, but Witchblade has always been one of those fairly interesting books that has been really, really interesting to look at and get into. So we will see what happens coming up with that. But right now, I'm all in with Witchblade. I've always liked Witchblade, so there we go. Cyberforce is coming back. Next up is Star Wars Adventures Force of Destiny Rey. The Princess Leia one came out last week. This is a weekly series coming out from IDW, their Star Wars Adventures brand. Week 1 was Princess Leia. This week is Rey. Next week is Hera from Rebels. The week after that is Ahsoka and Padme. And the final week is Rose and Paige from The Last Jedi. So this is written by Jody Hauser with art by Ariana Florian. And we get a little detail about what happened between after Rey found BB-8 and before she found Finn. So you get a little bit idea of what's going on in between there. So good on that. Also, apparently in the new Darth Vader book, let me check that out real quick. There is something which details how Rey can be Force strong. I don't know if I can find it in here. I guess I maybe have to read the book itself, but it explains. Here we go, somewhere. It's probably the storyline here, the memory crystal, stuff like that. So, so there's Rey. Next week will be Hera from Rebels. I will probably pick that up, even though I've never seen any Rebels. I want to see Rebels. I just haven't had a chance to get around to it yet. Continuing Dynamites, and the last chick one is Barbarella #2. It's written by Mike Carey with art by Keenan Yara. This is more an adult type of story, but it is once again a hot chick in outer space type of thing. Jane Fonda played her in the movie in the 1970s. So we get the comic here. So we'll see how long I keep up with this, but right now we do that. Betty Page was another one, I think, which was a 25-cent one also, and I like that one as well. So they're growing on me. So that's it for the hot chick section. I got 2 more books, and then I'm out of here. Both from Boom Studio, well, Boom and RK. RK is done by Boom Studios, but Judas #2. When Judas #1 came out, I let you all know that I'm kind of a fan of religious books, and Judas has been a very interesting character in the Christian, the Roman Catholic story. Everybody knows the story of Judas, but there's more to it, in my belief, than they're letting us know. It's written by Jeff Loveness with art by Jacob Rebelka, and again, this is proof that comics are not just superheroes. This is a religious comic that, you don't have to be Catholic to enjoy. And it's got nice artwork, and it's an interesting storyline, and to understand what's going on. So just more proof that comics are not just about superheroes. And another reason why you all need to go into your local comic book store and check it out. Finally, this book I bought for my wife. She's a huge Dark Crystal fan. This is Power of the Dark Crystal number 10. Simon Spurrier, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Kelly Nicole Matthews. It's a creative team on this. And if you're a fan of the Dark Crystal and are waiting for the Netflix series, which might be coming out at the end of this year, but should be out, I think, this year. This is a good thing. And as I said, I bought this for my wife. So that's it for comics. So I think I've already made my decision. This is the cover of the week because it is absolutely stunning. Farewell to You, Harley Quinn. If I had to do a runners-up, it would probably be the Hot Chicks of Hack/Vampirella and John Cassaday's cover, but the winner still by far is the new Harley, is the last issue of Harley that I'll be buying. So definitely check out these and other comics at your local comic book store. You got a full weekend now to check it out before new comics come out on Wednesday. Most stores will probably have 3 to 4 months worth of books still out there. So if you are trying to get caught up on a book like Barbarella, it's issue number 2, you might still be able to find issue number 1 and pay cover price for it. Or your store might be doing special deals. Like mine is doing 50% off of trades this week. So I'm probably going to head up there with my daughter tomorrow and maybe pick up some trades, pick up some more Star Wars trades. I think I'm going to pick up the Lando trade, maybe the Chewbacca trade, and maybe look to see if there's any Hack/Slash stuff, some Saga, maybe some Rachel Rising, and probably spend $100 and get like 10 books. So we'll see what happens. But it is, half price. You can't beat that. And my daughter will find something she likes also, and they might get half price for that too, depending on what the item is. So on that note, I'm going to say farewell. I have another show called Dylan Knows. That'll be on tomorrow, Saturday night, 9:30, 10 o'clock-ish again, depending on when my daughter goes to bed, because we're having a daddy-daughter weekend. My wife and son are camping. My daughter's upstairs, probably in bed by now. Hopefully, I told her 10 o'clock. It's 10:30, so hopefully she's not staying up. But we're going to have a film festival tomorrow, and I will talk a little bit more about that on my show tomorrow. It's just going to be me solo tomorrow, around 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on when things get done. And I'll be talking about a whole wide variety of stuff. So, on that note, go to your comic book store. It's the weekend. You need something to do. You need to get out of the house. It's going to be chilly, yeah, but why don't you go to your nice warm comic book store? Check out some stuff to read, some trades, some new comics, some toys, Funko Pops. You're a Funko Pop collector. A lot of places will have those as well. Gaming stuff, if you like gaming stuff, if you like baseball cards, if you like toys, if you like T-shirts, glassware, statues. My store has all that, and I'm sure there's probably lots of other stores that have that and maybe even more. In fact, there's a store down in Annapolis called Third Eye, I think, Third Eye Comics. They actually have 2 stores. One is all comics, and one is all statues and gaming stuff, and they're all right near each other. So, just go to your local comic store. You never know. You might get a really, really big one, or it might be a small little mom and pop shop, but those can be fun as well. Most people who work in them should be kind and fun and enjoy comics as well as you do. And they might be able to recommend new stuff for you to check out, or just look around and see what you like. And if you liked anything that you saw over there, check that out. So I got to go. That's my wife saying good night. Bye-bye.